aspirations. This particular area just a few blocks from Howard.
So you're saying the theater itself opened in 67, 18?
No. The theater opened, the Howard University opens in 1867. The theater opens in 1910. And now I've gotten us from Civil War to the Howard University now to the 1890s. By the 1890s, there are over 150 black businesses up 7th Street, down U Street, and down 14th Street. 150, the largest concentration of black businesses in America in the 1890s. By 1920, there are over 350 black businesses in this same corridor.
So there's an audience that's
so
available for a theater.
There is an audience, there is money, there is talent, there is aspiration, and there is what we referred to back then as the New Negro. And the Howard Theater in 1910 opens up as the New Negro's voice in this, what we called that back then, the Black Mecca of America, but we also called the Black Broadway, U Street. So the Howard Theater in 1910 becomes the anchor of the Black Broadway. It becomes the entertainment Mecca, a center of the Black Mecca, and consequently, rightfully as you're saying, there's black money here, there's black wealth here, there's black talent here, and there's black aspiration. It becomes the New Negro. The New Negro is a term invented by, coined by Booker T. Washington in the 1890s, but the New Negro becomes recoined by Alan Locke, a professor of Howard University here in the 1920s, and it becomes the slogan for the Harlem Renaissance. It's actually called the New Negro Movement. Later on, about 10 or 20 years later, it becomes Harlem Renaissance. But the New Negro really starts here at the Howard Theater with talent. And it wasn't just music, and people often forget. What started here really were performers. They were called the Lafayette Players and the Howard Players, and they were organized by Sherman Dudley. Sherman Dudley was one of the early managers of the Howard Theater in the 1920s. He was an actor himself. He was a professor of acting and drama at Howard.
So these were stage plays?
So these were stage plays. Well, then they became music performances as well. But more importantly, and what we often forget, this was a venue for oratory. So Booker T. Washington spoke here, W. Du Bois spoke here, Alan Locke spoke here. All the great orators of the day spoke at the Howard Theater. So the Howard Theater was not just a doo-wop and a soul and a rock and roll venue. The Howard Theater really was the new voice of the New Negro in the 19 teens and 20s and 30s.